mais privado. Vai iniciar pra gente, por favor.
Let us concentrate on our thoughts, elevate them to our Eternal Father, thanking Him, thanking Jesus, and all the angels, superior spirits who guides this work, who guide us through the path of enlightenment. May today we find more answers to questions within our hearts. May today we find ways to connect ourselves with the true teachings of the Gospel within the light of Spiritism. So be it.
So be it.
All right.
All right.
I think item 17, I guess.
Page 38, wasn't it?
Something like this. Sounds about right. Yes. We start on the 18th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I can start reading.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
There are worlds suitable to different degrees of spirit advancement, and where corporeal existence entails highly diversified conditions. The less advanced the spirit is, the more material and heavier the bodies with which it is enveloped. As it purifies itself, it passes on to worlds that are more highly evolved, both morally and physically. The earth is neither the best nor the worst. It is, however, one of the least evolved.
All right. Okay. I reckon you guys can keep on going.
The guilty spirits incarnate in less advanced worlds. Guilty spirits incarnate on less advanced worlds, where they expiate their wrong through the tribulations of material life. These worlds are for them true purgatories, and it depends on their own efforts to leave them by working for their moral advancement. The earth is one of these worlds.
So we think that the wrongdoers, we still are. We need to incarnate here as a planet that it's least evolved. But soon we'll be able to go to
The more evolved.
Hi,
Good morning. We're in the English, but hi, nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I'm
nice to
Carol.
meet you.
This is Sonia.
Hello, I'm Lucy. Gabby and Barbie.
Yeah, make yourself comfortable.
Thank you so much.
Just at the beginning, so you're gonna lose it.
We are. So this is,
Can use this one.
you can use this one here.
And we can use together this one.
I have here.
Oh, you have there as well?
Cardi
I think I can.
Oh, I don't know if it's the same
Do you
translation.
think
Probably
so?
it's not. No,
Share this one.
probably it's not the same. But yeah, let's try. Maybe.
It was an English class.
Oh, this one is Spanish.
Spanish, yeah. And
I can read again since we just started.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So, there are worlds suitable to different degrees of spirit advancement, and where corporeal existence entails highly diversified conditions. The less advanced the spirit is, the more material and heavier the bodies with which it is enveloped. As it purifies itself, it passes on the worlds that are more highly evolved, both morally and physically. The earth is neither the best nor the worst. It is, however, one of the least evolved. Guilty spirits incarnate. Do
Oh,
you understand?
hold on.
Okay.
Easy.
Okay, let's go
Okay,
paragraph by paragraph.
That's no, we are reflecting. That's a reflective study. We're not just here to read or do whatever. So what we are studying here is a book for you guys that are for the first time, called the Spiritism in its simplest expression, which is Allan Kardec. I don't know if you're familiar with Allan Kardec. Okay. Allan Kardec has codified, there are 5 books, main books in Spiritism, right? The Spirit's book, the Medium's book, the Gospel according to Spiritism, Heaven and Hell, and finally Genesis. And we have all them here and inside as well. This book is not considered as a main guide of Spiritism, but this book has, Kardec has compiled some main informations. So in the first part of the book, Kardec tells how Spiritism came about. And the second part, where we are right now in the item 18 that we just read, is the main teachings of Spiritism. So right now we are talking about what we call plurality or pluralidade of the inherent worlds. So this main item is talking about well, we can live in many worlds, and it helps our advancement. Okay, and as the spirit evolves, it will also be able to go through more advanced worlds. In the Spiritist magazine, Kardec tells us that the world that we call Jupiter is way more advanced than ours, although we don't see it. But why we can see it? Because the more advanced we are, the more or the less attached to matter we are. So this world that we live in, we are very attached to matter. We even can touch pretty badly. But in worlds such as Jupiter, they live in a more ethereal. Ethereal, I think there is a word in English, I hope there is. So that this is a very important thing, and I don't know if you guys have any reflections about this or any.
Wow,
knowledge.
we are vegan, and
Okay.
in Jupiter they are vegan as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I was reading something in the magazine.
Yeah.
But long time ago, of course, and they were talking about their their diet.
Their diet there.
Yeah, and they were saying that in Jupiter.
Yeah, in the Spirit's book's
it's
very
very
interesting. That talks exactly about this because.
Yeah, because it's more ethereal, so they
Yes.
don't
They don't need
the meat,
the proteins
the
that we
material.
still need, and that's a good point, because in Spirit's book says, because we live in this world, we still need to go through needing some kind of diet that is appropriate to our body, but totally makes sense as more ethereal, as more evolved.
Yeah,
we don't necessarily need
the
that.
light diet.
And the Nosso Lar or Astral City, their diet's mainly based in water.
Yeah.
Or
the energy,
guys
right?
and water.
Yeah.
So
some planets certainly is just sun energy.
It's just because our bones, for example, still need calcium. Our flesh still need protein to
But
keep
do you know
growing.
what? We are changing our diet here as well. I think that, of course, we are in transition, right?
Yeah.
We are in the period that we are going to the generation. regeneration
Mhm.
moment.
Mhm.
And I think that this movement about veganism, about a new diet, about
It's getting bigger.
this is growing now.
Yeah.
It's growing with us,
Mhm.
and of course, we will need to change our behavior as
Even
well.
Oh, yeah.
the new generation, like the youngers, they are changing their diet. You can
They
see
are
this
vegan.
movement happening much more between the teenagers.
But-
the
But
youngers.
some people, a little bit older,
They're
is-
changing as well.
it's changing as well.
Yeah.
Because they get influenced by and they see the pros and cons and everything.
Yeah,
And there's
it's very
so
interesting.
many information on internet now about what's the difference and what's the benefits.
Yeah, but it's not. This is the part that I like. It's not just about the diet and the benefits of the diet.
Mhm.
It's about the cruelty. The people
Yeah.
is starting to be
I
compassionate.
think the main
This
thing
is
is it
nice.
is this now, and the diet is more a secondary thing in my opinion, because once again, our body is still a very heavy
Mhm.
material body, but as we see cruelty, and we also see that we are getting in a more moralized society.
Yeah.
And this is
amazing.
the difference between a regeneration world to a trial and expiation as we are still living. The trial and expiation, from what says in the Gospel according to Spiritism, is the majority of the beings there,
Mhm.
like 50% plus one,
Mhm.
they are evil,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And in the regeneration world, this transition to 50% plus one,
Will be
being good beings or more moralized, doesn't mean that we are
No,
enlightened spirits
in the
or
paradise yet. But
yeah, but we are getting there. And then as we get moralized, we have to honor our body. We have to honor the other brothers and sisters, that includes animals, that includes plants and everything else. So
Yeah.
it's a good point, exactly. Well, thank you very much. It's a good reflection.
Because I got the
Are
right
you
one.
are you 100% sure now that is the
Yeah,
same?
this is the same, yeah.
Okay, so we can.
Let's see. I'm almost sure that's the same.
No, I don't think it's the same.
No?
Because it's part 20, right?
It's not.
Since
No,
God
19.
19.
give to spirits.
Yeah,
Sinful, yeah, it's not.
It's not
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, but
that's
it is.
fine.
It's a little bit, well, it's kind of the same idea, but there's some words that are
There's
different.
difference, yeah.
Does anyone want to
Guilty spirits incarnate on less advanced worlds, where they expiate their wrongs through the tribulations of material life. These worlds are for them true purgatories, and it depends on their own efforts to leave them by working for their moral advancement. The earth is one of these worlds.
Mhm. There is a very important word that begins the paragraph, which is guilty in your translation. Ours is sinful. What do you think about this word? Sorry. And I will try to find the French version here to see what exactly is the word is sinful or guilt. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. It is not here.
Okay, sinful spirits are those that are still making bad choices. Or
Sorry, go ahead.
they're still doing wrong, like still wrongdoers. Like we are not completely enlightened.
And I guess
But why the word guilt? Guilt over what?
over our mistakes.
Over the mistakes is the process. Okay, but over what? What mistakes compared to what? What is a mistake?
the consequence, when the consequence is not good for others and for ourselves, this means this make us feel guilty.
Yeah,
And
but over what? Based on what? There is a line, right? I did something that became a mistake, and I
Over the
crossed the
divine laws,
line.
over the divine laws, because
Over the
we're,
divine laws, what? It's through there the answer.
we are committing mistakes because we're not aligned with the divine laws. It's against it.
Yeah, we are not fulfilling the divine law. You know what I mean? If you don't fulfill the divine law, what happens? What happens if we don't fulfill the human laws? For example, I'm driving. I am supposed to be driving at 60.
the punishment, you
Yeah.
will
The
be
consequences.
punished.
Yeah, so I am not fulfilling the human law, right? Drive at 60 and I'm at 70. That will create a problem of me to the law.
Mhm.
And then you can call it mistake. I wouldn't use exactly this word because that could be bringing dubious relation, but we are not fulfilling that law and we are departing from it. We are staying away from it as more as we stay, and then the word is exactly sinful. But although we don't use much this word, as brings more a Catholic connotation. But the guilt, where lives this guiltness then? Because if it's something related that not me fulfilling the divine laws, is it God the saying you are guilt?
No.
So
I
why
agree.
comes this feeling of guilt that starts this paragraph? Where it starts?
Mm.
In our consciousness.
In our conscience.
Yeah.
And the question 621 of the Spirit's book, Kardec asks, where are the divine laws written? And the Spirit's answer, in our conscience.
Mhm.
So the feeling of guilt is not something concrete that we say, but is something within us. It's not something that we will, okay, from now on, I will pay the fee for the moving faster than I was supposed to, but I have to show my own conscience that I learned, I won't be anymore going away from the divine law, but getting closer to it. A good example of this is someone who do evil things such as killing other people.
Mm.
That builds in their own conscience a feeling of, oh, I shouldn't kill anybody else. Why have I done it? And as the more material benefits they have by killing other people, they will at some point see, well, this is not the good way. And then they will start respecting the law of society, that living together, loving one another, do to others what we would like to be done to us. So this is a very important thing, because sometimes we make it a external thing, and the feeling of guiltness is within us.
Mhm.
And to understand why I am feeling guilt
Mhm.
will help me to realize where I am departing from the law, where I am practicing. Now you will use a neologism here. This love, I am lacking of love instead of love. And so what I need to do, I need to develop love
Mhm.
and not depart from hatred, for example. So just bring in a more psychological understanding of this word, because sometimes we read it, oh, I am guilty. But where I am guilt.
why?
And
Why?
also the guilty can be related, Eric, with the lack of the apprentice feeling, because you make a mistake and then you're always think that you're perfect, that you cannot commit mistakes, then you have the guilt. But if you have the lesson learned, feeling okay,
Yeah.
this was wrong, I cannot do this again, you're gonna learn.
It's complicated to use this way. It is connected, but the apprentice feeling is not something that we will develop it by itself.
Mhm.
Like now I am a apprentice. Now I am apprentice. No, it's something that's related to Jesus' invitation there. Learn from me that I am gentle and humble. And gentle is wrong. It's not the right word there. It's meek. Gentle is different than meek.
Yeah.
Gentle means it is a virtue, but meekness is mansidão. It's a little different.
Meekness.
Yes. And humble, and I will humble myself. So to achieve the apprentice feeling, there is no way that I will achieve it before I realize, okay, I have to calm down and don't need to answer or fight for the things, but I can find a better way to deal with it. And I will humble myself. I am not the one who knows everything, but I still need to know. That's why it connects to the feeling of apprentice. But there is another more important virtue connected to the guilt feeling, which self-forgiveness.
Mhm.
To set myself free of guiltness, I have to forgive myself for something that I have done wrong. And this is very important because we don't usually forgive ourselves. We forgive the others, but we don't forgive ourselves for our own mistakes. And then eventually no, as it progresses, it will connect to the apprentice feeling for sure. Because I will forgive myself, I will humble myself that I can do mistakes, and with a lot of meekness, I will, next time I will try again, I will try better, I will try not to make the same mistakes. I will just talk with the people who arrived. If you guys please keep on doing.
Can you read for us, please?
Since God is supremely just and good, he does not condemn his people to eternal punishment because of their transitory wrongs. He continually offers them the means to progress and to repair the bad things they have done. God does forgive them, but such forgiveness requires repentance, reparation, and a return to the good. Hence, the duration of the punishment is proportional to the Spirit's presence in wrongdoing. Consequently, punishment will be eternal for any spirits that continued eternally on the path of wrongdoing. But as soon as the spark of repentance enters the guilty heart, God extends the divine mercy to it. Eternal punishment must therefore be understood to be relative and not absolute.
Yes, this is connected with Eric told us. And we need to require that we are not condemned forever for eternity. That we are eternal spirits, and God is just and good, infinitely good and just. He doesn't condemn us for eternal punishment. So the idea of hell disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also, well, if you guys are already spiritists, you know that God knows that we're gonna commit mistakes because we are in this process of we are imperfect and we are in this process of imperfection because we still have to exercise our virtues and all the proofs and expiations that happen in life. It's exactly for us to practice and to be a better person every single day, right? So but yes, when in the punishments that happen is just the consequences of our own acts, which is right. So which was well interpreted so many thousands of years because of the
beliefs
the beliefs
we
that
had
we created,
as,
right? Yeah, that was God's punishing us, but actually was only us
yes,
in that
Because-
process of.
yeah, because we thought in God as a human being like us.
Mhm.
Like we have this image of God as a old guy, like in
Mhm.
his
Mhm.
big, chair in somewhere in
Yeah,
the
in-
universe,
Of course.
very distant from us, very
Serious
serious
person.
and yeah, we mix
Yeah.
it up. Our
Mhm.
egos, like our imperfections, with God. God is infinitely.
Well, the first question of the Spirit's book
Yeah.
says,
Who is God?
"Who is God?" Yeah,
Yeah.
what is God? It's not
Yeah.
even who.
No,
No,
who
it's
is
what,
what is
yeah.
God.
And we don't
Yeah.
have the involvement enough to
Because
understand
it's
what
not
God
person,
is yet.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's maybe an energy. I don't know. We don't
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have
But
the involvement.
I think that when we get to understand that God is not a person like us,
Yes.
will be easier to understand that exist lives in another planets.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the people say, "Oh no, don't exist because we can't breathe in another planet."
Mhm.
And one day I heard this kind of explanation, and I said, "Oh, this is amazing," because the person was saying, "Oh, yeah, but we can't breathe underwater as well." And
Oh wow.
There are
Exist-
life there.
exist
Yes.
a
Oh,
fish.
yes. Oh, perfect.
exist life there. I
Yes.
said, "Wow!" And I said, "Exactly. God give us examples here,
Exactly.
That's
but normally we don't think about, right?
That's-
we are
yeah.
so
true.
inside
Yeah.
of the box,
Because
and
it's just we use comparison all the time.
exact. And Jesus
And that's the reason.
did this all the time, right?
Mm.
Comparing the life and showing the people. Using the material life to
Wow.
show us
Yeah.
that
There-
his words was
Yeah.
true, right?
There are more in my father's house. There are many homes. Like I don't know how to translate that, but
Oh yeah.
na casa do meu pai tem muitas moradas.
Mhm.
So that means there are many words
Yeah.
and spirits are everywhere.
Of course, and it doesn't make sense. Is the universe is not a universe? Is multiverse?
Mhm.
Is huge, and just us.
Yeah, that's
are-
why we don't have
are
the
living
involvement
here.
to understand yet
Yeah.
how huge it is, right? So
Exactly.
it's something that we have to
Yeah.
think calm ourselves to, because we're not gonna have all the answers to this point we are right now in terms of
Mhm.
evolution. Right?
Yeah.
But yes, I sometimes I think for me it's my personal opinion. One of the things that I like Spiritism a lot because give me lots of answers because I'm the why person. I want to know why everything, why this happened, why. So we
Yeah.
have lots of reflections and answers through the Spiritist book, but we still don't have all the answers.
No.
And I guess for me it was lesson learned because I was like,
Yeah.
no, I have to calm myself down because
But
I'm
we
not
have
gonna...
the eternity, right?
Oh yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you, God.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I
But I
have the
guess-
eternity.
oh, yeah.
But at the same time, we have all the answers we need right now for this life, for calm, to
Yeah.
be a better person right now, right? To me.
Yeah. Don't need to be anxious.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, each day with it's on burn. I don't know how to say that. But cada dia com sua o seu devido peso. Né? Cada
Yeah, with
dia.
your own challenge.
Yeah. So just live today and learn as
much
the
as we
best
can.
as you can.
And this take out a huge weight off our back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can see the life more light. You say, "Oh,
Yeah, and I
I
guess
can do it."
all the virtues we learned to be more forgiving, to be more patient, to be more understanding with people. Sometimes I think we complicate things, right?
Oh,
Because we try to be, stuck with anger and all those bad feelings. And And what Jesus says, it was way easier, and we sometimes don't get that point. Right?
Yeah.
We're so tied to this,
Yeah.
to the egoistic feelings too. So.
He tried as like he tried hard to that teach us how to follow God's law, and he exemplified like he did that. He showed us by words and by gestures all the time how easy and how good it is to be like how good it is to follow God's law. It's not that hard. You just need to pay attention.
And to practice, to understand people.
Yeah,
People
we
aren't
just
perfect.
need to be simple.
Yeah.
But we are not simple,
No.
right? We are very
No.
complicated.
Oh, yeah.
I said,
Complicate everything.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, and
Yeah, and exercise, it's the only way to exercise
way.
forgiveness, to exercise all the good feelings.
practice
Practicing a lot of
every day,
every single day with all situations at work, at school,
at school. Can I sharing with something with you guys? Make me so happy. And this beautiful lady, I will just sharing because I am so happy about your answer. Barb, we are not living here. We are living 5 hours from here in Cranbrook, in BC.
Okay.
Yeah, Cranbrook is a very Canadian, but is one side of Canada that I never thought about. Is very don't have too much immigrants, so they are very prejudiced. And Barb had a problem at school, and she was assaulted by another girl. Yeah, and the girl was posting, after that, the girl was posting many things in laughing about, saying, I hit her, I finally hit her, I am the best, I win, many things. And the people, another kids was calling Barbara a coward. And Barbara said, Mama, what I can do? I said, okay, you can be gentle, you can be civil, but you can give some answer for that. But just think about, and she answered that.
I was raised to be civilized, never expect to see anything. That is awesome.
That's great.
Very good.
Yeah, like
And I said, wow, thank you. It was a
And probably, and we have to make, I guess it's one of those situations that you have to understand the girl has probably going through something at home, or she has to work internally in herself, and it's probably blaming you for something, or it's something that she wanted to have from you that she doesn't have, so she's now jealous, or
she was envy.
What
you
something.
show.
And that's it was an amazing answer for sure, because you were not.
No, you're meek.
There's
you are practicing Jesus virtue.
There's something. One of the things I like the most here that we learn a lot is about breaking the cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't keep on the hatred cycle. You break with love and with good words. With how do we say in Portuguese? It's você quebra o ciclo
vicioso,
virtuoso.
Inicia o virtuoso.
It's exactly what
and
it
this is very interesting because I was being hard for her, of course, right?
Of course, absolutely.
And someone punch you in your face, and it's hard. But I was telling her is much more power. Is much more power. You control yourself.
Yes.
Then you have some reaction like her.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
This would
absolutely.
be instinctive. You did me something wrong. I will do for you as well. I will have some reaction like
fight back.
And we use too much this in Brazil. now we don't recognize the spiritists by their actions,
Mhm.
but we recognize the spiritists by their reaction.
Mm, I
Right?
see. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and this is very good. When she was humble enough to control herself, receive the
The punches.
punches, and the feel humiliated,
Oh yeah.
and don't do anything. I said, wow, you grew up.
Yeah, no,
You could-
absolutely.
Yeah,
And I think,
sure.
well, I guess just one thing, I think we can be recognized for our acts too, but in terms of giving the example,
Mhm.
giving the example to others. It's in this case specifically it was an answer you didn't want to fight back and your reaction was perfect. But I mean, we can give the actions will also be seen by others the way we act in everything in our lives, right?
Yeah, you're right, because her reaction was action for others.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Their reaction for the girl
Mm-hmm.
was a reaction between
Because of
the
the
fight,
correction, yeah.
but was an action for others. For
Exactly.
one example,
Yeah.
saying no, I don't believe that,
Actually,
and
you
I will not do
showed
that.
by
Yes.
words and mostly by your actions that you are stronger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
strongers are
Yeah,
those that
certainly.
don't fight, like Gandhi,
Mhm.
like all the great spirits that have incarnated between us to show that we need to build the love inside us and show that to others.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think we're not everything. We put themselves in altar, say, but he was Jesus. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
You
was
know, we're
Gandhi.
never gonna reach this type of kindness or anything. But honestly, each one of us doing our
We
own
are
job,
able
our
to do some
duty,
things.
yeah.
that's what's going to happen. The involvement of everybody, right?
It's a big effort, I know.
Oh,
It's so hard. Yes. But at the same time, it's a relief when we find out inside of ourselves that we got that virtue already.
that we did the right thing.
That we did the right thing.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's great.
And which brings what Eric was saying about the divine laws being our consciousness. Because then you have that feeling of peace. It's a peaceful feeling when you act with love and not with hatred, with hate.
Yeah.
And the more you learn, I feel that's for me, the more you learn, the more you practice, the more you study.
Yeah.
And Sonia can say this as well.
Oh yeah.
We
Feel that.
we feel that the more,
Yeah.
and you see all the situations in your life, you can have this reasoning, you can have this feeling of, okay, what can I do here that will be thoughtful, that will be with compassion. You put all the virtues in one thing and try to practice a little bit more, because at the end of the day, you can have the best job, you can have money, you can have everything, but doesn't count, right? It's gonna be the transformation, the inner transformation.
Nothing is best than put your head on the pillow and you sleep.
Peaceful.
Saying peaceful.
That you did the right
Thank
thing.
you, God. Was hard, but I got it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I see a good metaphor in there too, because like, so when she was, starting to punch me and kick me and stuff, I had my arm up to my face and I was always saying, don't touch me, but I never punched her back or never, I never did anything. I walked to the office, like I walked to front of the office,
Mhm.
and then I asked for help, and then later the people that helped me out, like
The principal, the vice principal.
they told me that if I threw one punch back, I would be just as guilty as her, and I would have to be suspended.
Yeah.
So I see like a good metaphor there, because it's like if God, we're asking God for help, and we're not fighting back, and we're not acting on hatred, He will see that we're there, in a good heart to get help from Him, and and He'll give us that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that too.
Mhm.
For sure.
And she was expelled from the
Yeah,
school.
so the girl,
Mm-hmm.
God acted, and He was like, "This is not right," and
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
took care of
absolutely.
it.
Because you cannot be passive in terms of the things that happen. You have to report because it was not correct.
Mhm.
But this doesn't give you doesn't mean that you're gonna do the same as she did, right?
Mhm.
But she still has to. We are still in the mortal we're surrounded by human laws.
Oh, yeah.
So it has
Yeah,
to
you need to
be
follow.
aligned with that too.
Yes.
Human laws and God's law.
Yeah.
Right? And if you follow the God's law, you are always following the human
Yeah.
laws as well, because they are.
Is it 11
Start to finish. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Yes, that was awesome.
Oh, great.
Oh,
So
so
finished. We have another one now.
Yeah, another one now.
Yeah.
It would be a beautiful Mother's Day gift.
Yeah, I was going to ask
Yeah.
that. I was like, oh, you guys are gonna.
For years that I can participate of some.
4 years that you guys are in Canada.
Yeah, for years, but we were in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg we have one group of study as well,
Mhm.
but they are starting. It's a beautiful group, but they are starting it, right? So we don't have speech. We don't have another kind of.
Oh, I see.
Guys, we have the YouTube channel. If you guys want to follow from there, you can watch all
Nice.
the.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Oh,
we have
nice.
a WhatsApp group too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
would be
can add you guys
wonderful.
if you want.
Thank
You can see
Yeah.
online, like now we
Yeah,
are
right now it's
doing
hanging out.
we'll be
the
online.
Yeah,
Oh,
we are
nice.
online. So if you want to participate, you
Yeah,
just
wow.
can go online as well, and you can participate with us
Oh,
and
wonderful.
talk
Nothing like
with us.
technology.
Yeah.
Get all of us closer.
It looks like a small group, but we have lots of tools to spread Spiritism
This
in
is
Canada.
amazing.
So we
This
just
is amazing.
even 4 hours from here, you guys can follow.
Yes,
can
of
watch
course.
from
Or we can move to here.
Yes.
It's one thing that I really think about, in particular, because after
After that,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a small city, so everybody knows about, everybody talk about.
they need some
Yeah,
a Spiritist center or even more.
I
I don't
think
know
that-
how if there are churches there, if there.
it's a lot of church, but I think that if I try to start something like Spiritism there, they will kill me or they will burn me.
Oh my God.
One more
That's
time,
crazy.
no.
Yeah,
No,
they're
it's
mostly
very-
Mormons there, though. Or don't even see many Catholics there. Just see most
No.
Mormons.
Oh
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, like Lethbridge here, close here, is the biggest city, Mormon city in the world.
Oh really?
Yeah. And Cranbrook, Lethbridge,
That's Utah.
and Cranbrook as well. But Cranbrook is 3 times smaller.
That's Utah, though.
Yeah, no, it's Lethbridge
Wow.
in number of people.
Well, guys, but once a thing I say, even if it doesn't have doesn't have Spiritist center there, there's so many lectures online.
Options.
There's so many
Yeah.
options.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm absolutely gonna add you guys if you want, of course.
Oh,
in the
thank you.
WhatsApp
No,
group,
we'll
because
be
we have all the
certainly.
meetings online. So
Yeah.
That'd
every
be
single
good.
one. Is,
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
would like some. I forgot the name. Jesus Christ.
In Portuguese?
Não, grupo de jovens para elas.
Mocidade Espírita.
Mocidade, gente. Esqueci completamente.
But
Mocidade Espírita.
even if there are books that you wanna, for example, you wanna buy a book, we can send by mail if you want. You know, there's so many things that we can assist you guys. So
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Don't feel
don't feel
Don't
that
feel
you're just a
alone.
child.
No, you're
Thank
not.
you.
Nobody's alone. Let's do our final prayer.
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Okay, so let's raise our thoughts to our dearest God, to Jesus, and be thankful for this Mother's Day, to all the mothers in the world, but not only them, but all the parents, all the people that take care of each other, that are thinking in their virtues, their things they need to work in themselves. That we have this constant feeling of learning and practicing the virtues to be better people. Spirits that are in the process of evolvement. We are truly grateful for FSS. We are truly grateful for this group, for these new wonderful people that came here today. And also understand that nothing happens by chance. Everything there's a reason, a purpose, and that we can always have love in our hearts and think that we are surrounded by people with flaws the same way as we are. We have to be understanding. We have to have this feeling that everybody's learning. We're all in the same range, practicing different virtues, but we are in the process of being better people every day. So be it.
So be it.
But for me, it's still very hard to do prayers in English, guys.
Yeah, me too.
I'm way better in Portuguese, but
Yes.
you guys got it.
Thank you. So now we are going to have our
Public meeting.
public meeting.
Well, this is also public actually, but this is more a study.